Welcome back to the Beacon World League, where audio issues have been fixed, hopefully permanently, and we'll see how things go from there. An exciting first match for sure, and things keep going here because, well, it's about to get really, really spicy in this one as well. We roll straight on into our next match of the evening, our second match in Div 2, and it is going to be Nayko, Tween, Acrose, and Jaakaah. And Boney, I'm feeling a little bit rough for Jaakaah in this one.
Yeah, I mean, from all the other three players, right? It's very much a. It's been coming in from a win, though close wins for those as well. I mean, I think for me that match. I mean, what is it? Tween and XY just duking it out towards the end. With Tween barely taking the win, despite the fact that XY actually came out first place in the first couple of maps. That is very, very impressive for him, but at the same time, expected from a player such as Tween. But good to know that there is, still that fight happening, despite some people maybe think like, it's Tween, he'll take it.
Yeah, and this match then will be, I believe, after round one, the top three players. Nayko and Acrose and Tween sitting on 12 points, 11 points, and 10 points between them. And Nayko in particular then, the lowest of those three, but definitely a strong performance in round one.
A really strong performance, and I'm really glad he did that performance because he's a young French player who I followed for a long time. I saw him first on the Magi Mondays, and he's really dedicating himself to the game. And seeing him win his first match will maybe give him a boost of how do we call it? A boost of confidence. A real boost of confidence playing against Acrose, who looks really insane, and Tween, Tween. I mean, he's just Tween. Like you're playing against Tween, like the one of the very best player of the game history. And yeah, Jaakaah will have to, I think, step up his game if he wants to perform really well in this match. But yeah, following Nayko on my side, a young French player, who I give all my support to Nayko.
Well, with that in mind, I'm going to jump us straight into predictions here as well. And I'm going to ask you, Coco, then, with all of that support behind Nayko, you think he's going to win the match?
Sadly, no, but we can maybe clutch up the second or third place. But yeah, I'm going to bet again on Tween, because Acrose did amazing, but now you are facing Tween, one of the fastest player on the Division 2, I think. Yep. So we are going to have some really close round. Maybe Acrose is gonna do one more mistake if he's seeing a number 2 on his car and Tween is first. If Tween is pushing as we know him to push on a typical map like those. But yeah, I'm going with Tween for this match.
Fair. Boney, similar thoughts?
So for me, I think just, obviously we have just come in watching Acrose play, so it's very easy to see how he's feeling, how he's doing, and clearly he's doing phenomenally. Like the only player in our Division 2 for first matches to have more than 2 points. It's ridiculous. 45 points at the end of the match. I mean, that in of itself does show that there's preparation as well. At the same time, though, it is still, you still have Tween, you still have Nayko, and I really do think Jaakaah is in a very tough situation. So I will give it to Acrose, depending on if we get Meltdown on first map. I think in that situation, I'd see Acrose take it. Otherwise, I'll give it to Tween.
Yeah, well, we're ready, I think, to jump into our pick bans then for this one and see how things go. Tween has sniped out, I believe, with the performances in that first round, the ban in this one. Ooh. So we'll see what the ban ends up being. It was Perseverance for Acrose in our last match on stream. He said he doesn't really want to play that one, and luckily for Acrose, Tween will still take that one off the table. It'll be a first pick then for Acrose. Where do we think he's heading, Coco?
Like, he's really good. I do think he's gonna pick Meltdown, because confidence is key on Trackmania. He's done amazing on the previous match, so it would be really stupid to not go on Meltdown. He's going to pick Meltdown. Maybe Nayko is going to pick Ruby. I do think this playstyle suits him, and now he's gonna go Gallifrey. And what's going to pick Jaakaah?
Jaakaah will go Miata, so Ruby to round things out. Our two new maps, third and fourth. So I think I mean, I was going to say maybe there's confidence on the maps that these players played in seeding, but with that said, we've seen Perseverance banned a lot already, Boney.
Yeah, it just keeps getting taken out. But I will say, just from my playthrough through the maps, obviously I am not at the level of these players, but definitely Perseverance is very true to its name. It seems like the type of track that if you want to be consistent at it, it's going to take a lot of that perseverance that the name already alludes to. But again, though, Meltdown does seem to just also having, peaked at the other picks and bans. Quite a popular maps, despite the fact that there's ice, and usually, ice tends to be quite the contentious thing.
It quite often does. And, well, I think we're about ready almost to head into match. And I will let you know, obviously, we've said maybe Tween, the player likely to win this one. And just glancing at the PBs, despite the fact that Acrose comes in on 12 points, having won the match record on all maps in that previous match, Tween, I think, did beat his map time on pretty much every single one as well. So despite the fact that it was closer in some of the other matches, we do have to be aware, I think, that Tween is looking very, very strong as we do get into that one and as we do get ready for it. Coco, I'm going to ask you, any final thoughts then? Has the pick ban changed the way you're thinking about this match at all?
Didn't change anything. Perseverance is actually the worst map of 3 of our players, Nayko, Tween, and Acrose. So it won't change anything for me. Tween is gonna win it, and Acrose second.
That does make life a little bit hard for Jaakaah as well. The only one that's oh, this is my best. Okay, yeah,
sorry,
fair enough. It's going to be tough to try and battle up, but of course, middle of the table battles are going to be interesting, and any points that Jaakaah can pick up here could end up being relevant. But I think especially at the top, these top 3 coming out of round 1 as our top 3 placed players in the standings, looking pretty good. Hopefully, we get a tight battle because it is most important in this format, Boney, to beat the players around you in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time as well, perhaps, having Tween and Acrose, I can definitely see that fight for first place happening, but perhaps Jaakaah will be trying to look for just that one clean run to get the map record in, to get points that way, right? There are multiple ways to get yourself higher on the rankings, and, if it's not simply through beating the players in your match, it could be simply beating your own time, and at the same time, perhaps, get that clean run in.
Yep. Okay, and we will be ready to head on into match for this one, heading on over to our casters for this. It's Babs, and it's also me. I'm going to be joining the broadcast for this second match of the evening. Looking forward to getting into this one, Babs.
Hi all, welcome to the cast. Thank you for joining me, as I'm really looking forward to this one. I know the match that we've just seen was a bit of an opener, an entree, you might say, but I feel like we're getting stuck into the main course with 3 of our top 3 in this match.
Yeah, it's going to get exciting. It's going to get spicy. I mean, obviously, as we said on the desk, feels like Tween has to be the favorite. But with that said, Tween did just have a very, very close matchup against XY in that last round. It was closer, maybe, than we expected it to be. And as we kick things off here on Meltdown, this is a chance for Acrose early in the match to maybe stamp a bit of authority on, because he looked great on this map last time around.
He looked brilliant on this map, despite, saying he's not that confident on it. He said this was by chance that he performed so well in it, but he definitely has some strong opposition this time around. I mean, the division record is currently held by Tween, which was set in the previous match, and I think Acrose was only half a tent off of it with his match record, so going to be a title battle, and Nayko will be looking to get involved as much as he can, as Jaakaah is actually following suit, currently quite close to our top 3. Nayko makes a little bit of a clip, and it's Tween who clips on the outside. Jaakaah actually finds himself in first position beside a Nayko going into the end.
Yeah, it is going to be Jaakaah in the lead, a player that we maybe unfairly wrote off a little bit on desk. This would be a great start for him here to kick things off, and it is a solid lead, half a second ahead of Nayko and Acrose and Tween. Tween especially a long way down. One last ice turn to go. Jaakaah holding his slide around. Nayko goes a little bit deeper. Jaakaah's very wide. Jaakaah has missed completely and is now even behind Tween. Acrose will pick up a second place and be happy for Tween. Just about gets across the line there. And Jaakaah unfortunately threw it all away a little bit on the finish line.
Yeah, he says it in chat, unlucko, and it was a bit unlucko. I think maybe if he saw the one in his car, he was wondering where is everyone, and then he saw them pass in front of him as he took 4th position. Probably one of the slower rounds that we're going to see on Meltdown. And I think Nayko can be lucky to come away with the first position.
I mean, you can even see it there still, though, right? With the division record held by Tween after round 1, 109.154. It's quick, but we're still waiting to see what happens in Div 1 as well, because Epos' time is a full 7/10 ahead of that. And it means also, I think, there's room to improve in Div 2, because obviously Div 2 versus Div 1, in theory, the times are going to be a bit slower, but we have players like Tween. Acrose said in his pre-week interview, as Nayko clips a wall, that, you know, he was hoping he'd be able to get into Div 1. The gap isn't massive between Div 1 and Div 2 here, Babs.
It really isn't. There is a step up, but some of these players will be thinking they deserve that position. Acrose just adds in a third 360 because he didn't like the two we already had there. But unfortunately, that means that he heads down into 4th position. But he doesn't have time to feel sorry for himself for qualifying into Div 2 because he's up against Tween and Nayko. These are probably Div 1 caliber players in certain respects. As Jaakaah again is in 1st position heading into the end. Does he keep it clean this time? Tween has a much more inside line, but Jaakaah has more speed. Who's going to take it? It's Jaakaah ahead of Tween by 5 thousandths. What a round.
That's impressive from Jaakaah, who I think, looking at the time, match record there after a couple of rounds is 110.056. It is 8/10 behind the current division record that we know that Tween is capable of driving, and that we know that Acrose and Nayko are both capable of getting well close to. But Jaakaah's the player keeping it consistent at the moment, is getting to that finish line in the top 2 pretty consistently, just needs to nail that end, and could be keeping things consistently close for a while longer in this match as well.
Yeah, absolutely. After 2 rounds, it's still neck and neck. There hasn't been any player really that has shown that he's above the rest, except maybe Jaakaah, who's made less mistakes, which is one way of being first, I guess. But for the moment, it is Tween who's leading ahead of him. He'll be looking to have a better round this time. He got second in that last one, but considering he has a division record, he'll be looking for a few more firsts.
Nayko, once again, trailing a little bit, currently ahead of Acrose in terms of the points, but could change up here if Acrose can manage to get past Jaakaah. Tween out to a decent lead, holding a 3/10 lead. Jaakaah a little bit slower through that turn. Acrose edging out in front as Nayko continues to drop away. It is a very close top 3 at the moment. Tween looking to have a slightly better setup for this end. Acrose is very wide, looking to come down with a lot of speed. Nayko back in the mix. Jaakaah will just about hold off Nayko, less than a 10th in it, and Tween sets a new match record.
And just to show you how much faster that was than the last 2 rounds, that's just 0.8 ahead of the previous match record? Yeah, so now we're on pace. Now we are at the pace that we expect from these players. Tween has division record, has match record, and these match record points could be quite important, especially in matches like these where a lot of the players could set those fast times.
Especially given that these players at the top, Nayko, Acrose, Tween, separated by a single point after round 1 of the competition as well, right? And it could be decisive come the end of the competition, especially in these matches where you have the chance to directly take it away from an opponent who's close to you in the standings.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I think that pressure is getting to Nayko slightly. Either that or Meltdown is not his map, and he is not feeling it. Tween, again, is off to a good round. Acrose finally has a challenger on this map. Meltdown has a much tighter line, and Tween is going to have to settle into 2nd position. Acrose is looking to get his first -0 of the match, and Nayko is still too far behind to have a say. Jaakaah will be happy probably with a 3rd. Going into the end, Tween has more speed going into the ice, but Acrose has a nice line. Tween takes it tighter. Is he going to take that first spot from the Welshman? No, he goes too tight, and he's sent out too wide, which means that he does not finish, which means that Jaakaah even takes 2nd. Nayko still too far to deny 3rd, has to settle for 4th.
Yeah, does need to get across the line though. It's -12 if you DNF, finishes with 5 seconds to spare, so -10 for Nayko in that round. Tween leaves the map with the match record, but we'll be back again. We will see Meltdown at least one more time. We will see Meltdown one more time exactly before this match ends. It'd be a miracle if we got there a 3rd time.
It would be a match that would go down in history if we got there a 3rd time, yes, absolutely. But what's interesting to see is that Meltdown has been stated as the most difficult one, the one that a lot of people have issues with, but has not been banned thus far, and we've seen it picked first even in both matches that we've covered, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, players seem happy because there is that element, right, where it is the first map picked, so it's first in rotation, which means it is going to be seen twice. If you are looking to go far in the match, pick up a first or second place, you are guaranteed to see the first pick a second time. And as you say, particularly interesting. It makes sense this time around. Acrose is riding the wave of doing well on Meltdown and at least finish strong there. It was a little bit of a shaky start, and I think Acrose would be wishing that he'd maybe managed to carry that momentum a little bit further. There were some silly mistakes early on in the map, but did manage to hold it, and that does mean we head on to our second map of the match. And it is very close at the top of the moment, and it's time to start seeing some separation, Babs.
Oh no, absolutely. And the PBs from these players are very close as well. Obviously, this one favouring a bit more of that tech and their style. Tween currently has the fastest time of any of our players, just about half a tenth ahead of Acrose, and a further tenth ahead of Nayko. And Jaakaah, once again, we said it's a difficult matchup for him, but he performed quite well on Meltdown, so maybe he can carry that through into Galifeu.
Still within touching distance. In fact, Jaakaah is ahead of Nayko by 6 points at the moment, and only 3 points behind Acrose. And Tween tied with Acrose as well. So I can read, and I can definitely tell what the scores are at a glance. I'm very good at what I'm doing. It's tight, is what it boils down to at the moment. 3 players within 3 points, and Nayko definitely cannot be counted out just yet. It'll just take a couple of decent rounds, not even great rounds, but decent rounds for Nayko to get back in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And those decent rounds can not only gain you some points for the overall leaderboard, but can gain you those match record points as well. If you're wondering how to keep up with them, or you don't know exactly where you can see them, look at the little green dot beside Tween's name, and that signifies that he has one of those match record points currently. But heading into Galifeu, I wonder if that is going to stay the same. He's currently leading off to a really good start, a very good round on our hands currently as we head towards the end.
Tween holding on, but everyone very close. 3/10, all that separates the field at the moment. Jaakaah got very close to the wall there, but holds on to a good exit, not gaining, and it might just be processional to the finish. It will be, but it was close. Tween takes the round, and that's a strong time as well from Tween. Couple of tenths away from the divisional record.
Yeah, that was one of the best rounds we've seen so far. Not because we had position switching or anything, just because all 4 players drove a clean round, and in the end Tween was the fastest of the 4. I wonder if that's going to be the scenario that we're going to see every round on Galifeu, as it seems to be his favourite map. I suspect it won't be.
I'm going to guess no. I think a lot of these players feel comfortable on Galifeu, if nothing else. And the issue there, though, Babs, is that when everyone feels comfortable, I feel like you gotta bet on Tween more often than not, though, because if he's feeling comfortable, then there's the chance he's just going to continually bang out times. We are still seeing here, as in our last map on Meltdown, there's headroom, right? There's 5/10 up until the world record as well. And you'd kind of say, yeah, if Tween is starting to feel comfortable and needs to push a little bit harder, can maybe start to approach that. But for the moment, this is still very close. It is 1/10 exactly between the top 3. Nayko with the first mistake, touches on the outside of Acrose, fending off Tween as we head into the final few corners.
Yeah, Tween has a really good line there, but Acrose is going to carry more speed as we go into this final drift. Who is going to look to risk it a little bit more? Both players do. Now they need to head up this beam nice and straight, which both of them do, which means that Acrose takes that first position ahead of Tween this time, and Jaakaah gets third. Nayko with another 4th position. He's not going to be happy with how this has started.
No, it's starting to look a little bit scary. Nearly lost half of his points already. Jaakaah is trailing him as well, and the battle up at the top is between Tween and Acrose. Acrose continuing on a really, really strong run of form here in Div 2. We said that first match was impressive, but I did point out on the desk that Tween actually did have slightly better times than Acrose. That's kind of held up so far. A map and a half down. Tween holds the match record on the first one, doesn't currently hold the match record on this one. It was just taken away by Acrose. But I'd say Tween seems to have slightly better pace, but Acrose is absolutely hanging at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, that is the case. I was just wondering where Tween was in this round, and it's because I couldn't see him. All 3 players were within themselves, and Tween actually claims that first position for the moment. He has looked strong thus far, maybe the strongest of all of our players, but Acrose and Nayko have shown that they have the pace to keep up with him. At this time, it is up to Nayko to try and challenge the XTMGL player. at the front. He's looking comfortable. He's had a really good dirt section previously here. Is he going to be able to hold this lead into the end?
It's good speed for Nayko. He's gaining a little bit, goes deep on the inside. I don't know how much grass he caught, maybe too much. Tween does look to have slightly better pace up the hill, and Tween will cross the line with a 107.692. That's a new divisional record.
What a round.
Nayko and Acrose were not far behind.
Yeah, that could have been, that was close to a divisional record from all three players. So Tween definitely having to step it up in this match, really showing that he's got more pace on the locker and bringing it out in that previous round.
This is Div 2, by the way. Yeah, there is still Div 1 to come. There is still pace to be shown. And I mean, Div 1, it's been said to death already at this point, and we're still only on day 1 of the competition. I mean, Div 1 does feel like pretty much any player on their day could show up and win a match.
Yeah, and I've seen players, you know, complain, saying they weren't happy with being in Div 2. They say they deserve Div 1, and you know, well, here you are. You have to perform. If you think you're above the rest, then prove it on the track. And you know, some of those players haven't been doing it, but Tween, who we expected to perform, Acrose, who had something to prove, they've been doing really well. Nayko, on the other hand, has had a poor start to this match and currently battling with Tween again, but makes another mistake, and it's going to be difficult for him to start clawing those points back.
And it does start to look like Nayko's gotten into their head a little bit on that section, because we've seen different mistakes. First on the dirt uphill, now clipping the inside on the entry as well. Just maybe overthinking that entire section, and has been taken out. Tween is going to set a 108.023. Wasn't that fast?
That's
in the end.
slow.
I mean,
yeah.
it's pretty quick, you know. But in the grand scheme of things, in terms of the fact that we saw 107.692 last round, 3/10 down. I mean, come on, Tween, clean it up.
He's fighting against himself. I think Galifeu was definitely a map that suited him quite well, and he showed it. He showed it there with 4 really strong rounds. The others sort of having to fight for those other points. Nayko, again, I have to point out that he's going to have to pick it up very quickly if he wants to have a say in this top 2 in this match.
The thing is, as well, the pace is there for Nayko, right? Absolutely is up, is battling Tween wheel to wheel for a lot of the first half of that map. Kind of doing similar things at times on Meltdown, although on Meltdown, I think the mistakes came in a little bit earlier. The sections that he was struggling with appeared early enough that we weren't maybe getting that same impression. But in terms of pace, it's there. Nayko just needs to kind of cut some of those errors out, and it's not too late in the match to do that. We're about halfway through the points at the moment. Could absolutely make the comeback charge. That's kind of the joy of reverse elimination as well. You can always hang around on last chance for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends on how you look at the situation. If you think, you know, oh, I'm heading towards last chance, it's all over. Or if you think, actually, I'm heading towards last chance, if there's a time to step it up, it's now, and I need to get in gear and start taking some points off of my opposition. And maybe he can do that on our next map, Miata.
It'd be a great time to do it. We are ready to go on to Miata, map 3, with Tween currently holding 2 match records, but not really pulling too far away in front of the points. Did start to open up a gap on the last map, did start to put Acrose a little further down towards the other 2 players in the match. Tween continuing to hold that lead and looking to keep it clean on Miata.
And I wonder if Acrose is going to be able to challenge him a little bit more on this one, because the first place is definitely still up for grabs for, I'd say, any of these players if they start performing well in the second half of the match. And Acrose, you know, this might feel like something of a final. I know it's crazy to say, even though it's only round 2, but beating players like Nayko and Tween could, you know, pave the way for a really strong position come the end of the season.
I mean, we do have a couple of matches like that happening on stream today. I mean, just looking forward to what's going on in Div 1 later on as well. I mean, Epos, Barbos, Ender and Binks is our first Div 1 match on stream. Like, that's kind of feels like a divisional final that we're about to see up next.
Absolutely, and that's the joy of this weekend World League. We have these multiple nationalities. If you look at the top of your screen, it gives me great pleasure to see all those different flags and all competing against each other. At such a high level, and the person at the highest level for the moment in this match is once again Tween.
Yeah, and Nayko's made the mistake again. It's just shaky, but it is well, still only round 1 here on Miata. Maybe they can clean it up a little bit. Jaakaah fighting Acrose at the moment. That was very close to the wall, but it's Acrose who's lost speed, maybe even lost the gear fully on that one. It looks like he did, because he is slow at the moment. And it's up to Jaakaah to maybe try and chase down Tween. Great speed. Tween is slow. Does Tween even make the jump? Jaakaah's going to take first place. Tween does hold on. That's a round win. 0 points lost for Jaakaah. And Nayko will be 10 points behind, down to 35.
I have to say, Jaakaah is quickly becoming a fan favorite. And when I say fan favorite, I mean my favorite. Because that is the sort of moment that you look back at the stream, you clip and you rewatch it. You just passed Tween in the risky finish to take first position. Must feel very nice. Especially when nobody was considering you could perform at this level.
Oh dear.
Oh.
That's not ideal. That's Nayko respawning off of the start line near instantly and putting themselves at a 4-second deficit. Acrose once again slots into third place, and this battle continues up front. Jaakaah versus Tween is the story of Miata, and Jaakaah came out on top last time around. Tween feeling the pressure. It was one tiny error. It didn't even cost him enough speed to cost him the risky fin. But can Jaakaah repeat history and manage to pick up a second first place and really put himself in the running for second place in this match?
It's incredible to be saying that when we're at the halfway mark of this match, but he's performed really well. He's done what he's had to do. He was taking a very wide line there, maybe a risky line, as we see both players going for the moderately risky line, which means that if you've made a mistake, you can take that one, still make the jump. Tween gets some airtime, means he's going to lose the gear. Jaakaah comes into first spot again. Can it be another -0? It's Slovakia versus Slovenia, and for the moment it's Jaakaah in first position. As long as he makes that jump, that's another -0. What is happening in this match?
The Acrose will once again slot into third. We have the same finishing positions. It is a slower round by about a second and a half there at the moment, but Nayko is struggling a little bit at the moment. Tween has 2 match records, and there is one there for Jaakaah. Can he hold on to it? I mean, 2 more rounds to go on Miata. It's maybe unlikely that we get back to Miata again. It could happen, but this could be huge for Jaakaah.
It could be absolutely massive, and it could be a credit to him if he could come out of this match with a third place and even just 1 match record. That is a really good haul for him, considering the quality of opponent that is in front of him. Another mistake from Nayko. It is really not going his way, and I think Miata, we were hoping it could be his saving grace, but it's just another nightmare, unfortunately. But again, Jaakaah, close behind Tween, is followed by Acrose. Seems to be performing really, really well on this map.
Yeah, looking solid at the moment. Is this time around behind Acrose, who's cleaned up that start a little bit, but it has been later on as well. A couple of those dirt sections have been tough for Acrose to get right, but the same can be said for Tween. So Jaakaah there to pounce, ready to go if any of those mistakes do come through. Jaakaah goes wide here. Acrose taking a little bit of a safer line, just a little bit lower. All 3 players do manage to make the full risky jump this time around. Acrose is sliding across the track though, and Jaakaah will carry a little bit more speed out of that exit. Acrose having to just recover, now choosing to drive safe, just looking to make the end. Maybe has the speed though. Jaakaah with a slight error, lost the gear, still looking for the risky fin. Tween is off in the distance, and it will be a round win for Tween. A divisional record for Tween as well, and a DNF for Nayko, who loses the full 12.
Well, that's the highs and lows of this format. Nayko really getting into his own head. It's just not going how he wanted it to, and on the other opposite end of the spectrum, Tween setting a brilliant time, setting a new division record. We had everything in that round.
Yeah.
And another mistake
there. Nayko, I think, has maybe given up on this match a little bit. It'll be a disappointing round 2 for Nayko, despite winning that first round today, picking up the full 8 points plus a couple of match records, potentially looking at just 2 from this second match.
Yeah, it would not be a great performance, and it hasn't been a great performance from Nayko thus far. The issue is he knows it, and I don't think he has the ability right now to overcome his demons and get back into this match. One person who hasn't had any demons and has just had a great time is Jaakaah. He's competing with Acrose and Tween round after round, and he's doing a brilliant job of it. Tween is out in front again, has a really good entry into this dirt. Once again, goes very tight to that pole, but takes the risky landing. Behind them, the duo of Jaakaah and Acrose are trying to hunt him down and are going to pounce on any mistake he makes going into the ascent.
Absolutely, and I mean, Jaakaah's just looking to overtake Acrose as well. Maybe they can give up on Tween right now, but it looks like good speed from Jaakaah. Maybe not quite enough. Could land a little bit earlier. Looked to really risk it. Slides out. Went for it. And you know what? You cannot fault them for that.
You cannot fault him, and he's lucky that that little barrier was there. He did not go flying off into the green and was able to just accelerate into the finish. And as we end Miata, that's changed a lot of what I thought might happen in that match. I think Jaakaah really performing, sort of continuing the great start that he had on Meltdown, and Nayko, it's not looking good for him.
It's really not, as we will head to our final map as well. Tween has starting to feel like maybe an insurmountable lead out start, but I think we're looking to say goodbye to Nayko quite quickly here on Ruby, unless the miracle happens and Nayko fully pulls things together and manages to mount a serious comeback. And all of a sudden that means that even first place doesn't prevent you from losing points. If Tween picks up a couple of third places from there on out, the others could start hauling in this points differential at some point pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one person who might be looking to do that is actually Acrose, currently in second position, had a great performance last match. And he said it in his interview, he was worried about what Tween might do in this match. And I think he was right to think so, because Tween has come out of the gates flying and has been just extremely consistent. But again, all of these maps are difficult. And as we head into Ruby, it could be one where maybe Acrose brings some points back into his favor.
He's going to have to hope so. And it's going to be close. I mean, look, again, looking at the PBs on this one, I think unfortunately for Nayko, this is the map that he has the worst on out of the 4 players in this one. So Jaakaah is very close to Acrose in terms of pace on this one. And if he can drive that semi-consistency, then we'll see. Hey, look, Babs, there's a €1,500 prize pool for Beacon. Maybe the viewers could add to that if they wanted.
You might have noticed there's a little plus beside that 1,500. That's because you can donate to the prize pool of the Beacon World League. Exclamation donate in chat, and you will get the link to give whatever you can. And of course, you can get a little bit of a present for that. There's a lovely Beacon World League skin that Prof made. If you give €10 or more, you will get access to that. But as we look back at this match, all 4 players neck and neck after the first few turns. Tween again in that comfortable first position that he has adopted since the start of this match. Can anyone challenge him?
Yeah, well, that's slow from Tween. Got too close to the inside of that turn and will have to settle into 4th place. It was a decent recovery. That could have been much worse than it was. As it is, the difference was about half a second that Tween has dropped down. Enough that he could maybe look to catch up to Jaakaah, maybe even Acrose. Through the plastic we go. Reactor boost down, trying to keep the speed, and Tween does a great job of it. Now on the back wheels of Jaakaah as Nayko and Acrose do battle out up front. Nayko could still avoid last chance this round. It'd require a win, and I have jinxed it as he goes flying face first into a pole.
It required a win, and he just went straight into a pole. Like you said, there's no other way of saying it. But Acrose is looking to get a nice -0 to add to his tally. Tween, despite that mistake, only finishes 0.27 off of Acrose, which meant that he had a great second half of that map.
Yep, that's a little bit scary for everyone else in the lobby, because that was not a slow time by Acrose by any means. 3/10 off the divisional record, and Tween still managed to find 2.5 tenths over the middle of the map after losing half a second. I get, we've seen it a lot from Tween so far, Babs, that he's set a few divisional records over the course of this match and the last one. I kind of get the feeling we're leaving Ruby with another Tween divisional record.
I'm not so sure, because if you look at that divisional record and you look just above it, the person who holds it is Brawley, who also has the world record, which is a good thing to have on your CV if you're claiming that you might be the fastest on a certain map. Now this round is a lot closer. Tween has kept the gear on that no slide, which means that he's kept his first position just the same. Nayko is trying to stay alive. The only thing he has to do is not finish last. Currently he's doing a good job of that. He's fighting for second with Acrose, but Jaakaah is only a half a second off the pace and is looking to pounce if there's any mistakes.
Jaakaah is close, but I mean, also keep an eye on the points. Jaakaah's really not that far ahead of Nayko, despite the disasters for Nayko. DNFs in back-to-back rounds being a -24 point loss. Jaakaah's only on 24 points themselves, so Nayko is not safe yet, but definitely could still try and take away at least a 3rd place in this match. It will be a 1-2-3, Tween, Acrose, and Nayko. And Tween with a new match record, but still a little bit away, about a 10th away from that divisional record for the moment.
Which is still a very, very solid time. And I have not seen a weakness from Tween thus far.
No.
I think he was slightly shaky, and that might be Might be harsh to say on Meltdown, but otherwise he's been very, very strong. As you said, Jaakaah though, he could close out a great performance here if he just manages to stay ahead of Nayko. He needs Nayko to finish last in one of these rounds, and this might be the one where it happens. Nayko has made a mistake at the start. He's 0.8 behind the leaders.
Oh, this is looking... Well, it's looking dire, if we're being totally honest with ourselves. There was a mistake last round from Jaakaah that led to a finish time about a second and a bit behind, but there's another mistake from Nayko. Going to DNF, and it will be a 4th place finish. 2 points only for Nayko. Starting off after round 1 with a full 10, 8 points for winning the match, and 2 match records. Only 2 points in round 2, and that is a tough position to be in leaving week 1.
Well, it's what I said, Division 2... I know it's not Division 1, but it has its own merit, and you need to stay as fast as the other players if you want to claim that you can be one of the better players in this division. Somebody who's doing that, and is surprisingly doing that as well, is Jaakaah. He's right on the tail of Tween, even tries to snipe him going into the end. What a round that was from Jaakaah, getting that 2nd place.
Yeah, showing that he can stay in the mix, and still a little ways behind, but does beat out Acrose in that round. Down to 10 points is Jaakaah. Acrose 21 points away from that. Points repartition about to switch up as we say goodbye to our first player in this match and head for the 2nd time back to... Well, I was going to say back to Meltdown, but no, I got baited by the map video. We're still on Ruby.
We are still on Ruby. I think maybe some players looking to get off of it as soon as they can, which was the case for Nayko. He is out of the game now, so it means that our 3 players have to remain on Ruby and fighting out for one more round. Acrose this time is very close to Tween. This no slide is ever so important. Tween sets up earlier, gets maybe a bit more speed than Acrose, but it's neck and neck as we go into this drift section here.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when we do get back to Meltdown. We will have all 3 players for our 2nd run at that one after this round. Jaakaah nearly hung a wheel off the edge, but that is quick. Nearly too quick, heading into the dirt, just about keeping it out of the wall on that dirt uphill section. Across a little deeper inside, maybe less speed, but the exit looked very good from Jaakaah, who holds on to 2nd place at the moment. Tween just happily driving off into the distance. Acrose holds on as Jaakaah, with a slight wobble, will lose speed, lose time, and drop back down into 3rd place. It could all still happen at the end here, though. Acrose will not look for the snipe onto Tween, who takes 1st. Acrose in 2nd, and Jaakaah unfortunately dropping down to only a single point. Could not hold off the charge from Acrose.
Yeah, it's a credit to Tween, the fact that we have not even been mentioning him in these last few rounds. He's just been consistently in that 1st position, and the fight has been going on behind him. After that last round, it means that Jaakaah is going to be in last chance. I think he's done really well so far. Anything more would only be a bonus. And as we head back into Meltdown, anything can happen. He had 2 rounds where he was in 1st position, and if he can maybe, capitalize on those mistakes from the other players, you never know what could happen. Acrose could be dragged down into a bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, with that said though, Acrose I think was the most consistent player on Meltdown the last time around. What was that? 2 2nd places, a 1st place, and then to be fair, a 4th place. Tween though was also kind of bouncing around the leaderboard. Was 2 3rd places, a 2nd place, a 1st place. The times were a little bit inconsistent. It's going to be interesting, is what I'm kind of saying here. Acrose and Tween I think is the battle we have to keep our eyes on. As much as I love what Jaakaah has done here, I think it's going to be difficult to hang with these 2 on Meltdown.
Oh, I don't know if I can take my eyes off Jaakaah. I'm rooting for him to even survive just 1 round on Meltdown. It would be brilliant. Take a few extra points off of these players. But yeah, like you said, the battle at the front, it's a bit of a one horse race, if you could say that. Where Tween has just been really the better player of all these 4 and has looked comfortable in that 1st spot. And if it does continue on Meltdown, then this match could be over quite quickly.
Yep, there is what we're aiming for. We've seen players miss that finish a couple of times. Trying to cut that final ice slide, trying to get as close as possible without missing. It's led to some pretty unfortunate mistakes, and that's what it looks like. POV, you are trying to snipe the finish line, and it is approaching in slow motion. You've realized you've missed. Disaster.
It gives us a nice little view of the green background in the back, and just 4 or 5 seconds to mention the scenery on these maps. They are absolutely stunning. a pleasure to look at and a pleasure to watch these matches of these amazing players competing on these amazing maps.
Yeah. Well, Jaakaah has 1 point. How far can he stretch it? The answer is, it is literally impossible to not be on last chance this round. There is no more -0 for first place because we are down to 3 players. We will see Jaakaah on last chance after this round. But it all kind of comes down to Acrose at this point. Tween, well clear. Nearly 40, it's 39 points up on Acrose at the moment. It'll take a miracle for Acrose to pull that back in. So Jack is just looking to overtake Acrose right now, try and force him down to last chance alongside him, I think.
Yeah, and for the moment it's a very clean round from all 3 players. They've been trading positions throughout the map. Jaakaah, if he got 3rd position in this round, would probably feel a bit hard done by, but the 2 players ahead of him are having a very strong round. Also, Tween goes for that outside line, which means that he carries more speed going into the ice. Jaakaah is a little bit wide, but all 3 players make it a very clean round, and that's a new match record. That was a very, very good round from all 3 players.
Yeah, it was incredibly clean, and it is very close to Tween's own divisional record, so you have to give credit to Acrose and Jaakaah for being that close. And as you say, I think Jaakaah can definitely feel a little bit hard done by to have put in one of his better times on the map and still end up 2/10 away from the divisional record in 3rd place.
Yeah, and if you look again to that scoreboard at the top of your screen, you'll see Jaakaah highlighted in red. That means he's in last chance. He cannot finish last in this round, or else he will be eliminated. And if you look a bit to the right, you see that Tween still has 4 green dots beside his name. That means that he has the 4 matched records. I wonder if Acrose looks to that advantage that he has on Jaakaah and thinks, oh, I only have so many rounds to try and snatch a match record, and maybe that's what he's trying to do in this round. He's currently in 1st place ahead of Tween.
You have to be so impressed by what XY did in that first match. We didn't get it on stream, but really took Tween all the way on that one. Ooh! Different cam through the ice slide as Jaakaah overtakes Acrose. We catch it from above, and pretty spicy on that one. And can Jaakaah hold on to this lead at the moment? Acrose is sniffing around, looking to find a way past at the moment. Tween once again doing Tween things and driving off into 1st place, feeling comfortable out front, going for that very, very wide line, which gives him a much earlier setup into this final slide as well. Acrose starting wider, looking for speed, trying to catch Jaakaah. Jaakaah's so wide! And it was close, but it wasn't close enough. Tween sets a divisional record, and Acrose will have to settle for 3rd. Jaakaah stays alive.
That was a little bit dicey at the end there for Jaakaah. We've seen that sort of wide ice slide catch out some players in this match especially. But fortunately for him, keeps it clean, makes it into the finish, and claims that 2nd spot, and just making Acrose feel the pressure a little bit now. He's only on 10 points. A last position could send him even closer to that last chance spot, and who knows what could happen from then. But for the moment, Jaakaah finds himself in that 3rd spot, needs to make something happen in the second half of this match if he doesn't want to be eliminated.
Jaakaah is in 3rd at the moment, though. It's a scary place to be. It's scarier when you consider how well the 2 players in front have done on Meltdown all day long. But it's not out of reach, within a 10th and a half at the moment. Into the 1st ice slide then goes Jaakaah, just behind Acrose and Tween. Tween with a little bit of an awkward line through there, and it results in the clip as well. Doesn't respawn, but is going to be seconds away from the other 2. At this point, if you are Jaakaah, it kind of, look, you'd like to overtake Acrose, push him a little bit further down, but either way, Acrose is going to be very close to last chance in the next round.
Yeah, do you go safe in if you're Jaakaah here? You know, we've seen this finish catch out some players, but no, he still goes for the risky. Does he have the speed for it? Yes, he does, comfortably behind Acrose, who set a good time himself, actually.
Very fast.
Yeah, only half a 10 off that match record, maybe going for that match record that Tween currently holds.
Yeah, I mean, look, the issue there, if Jaakaah manages to overtake Acrose and put him into 2nd place, well then 2nd place in the next round as well for Acrose would be good enough to send him to last chance. As it is, Jaakaah needs Acrose to come last to join him on last chance this round, but I'll be honest, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, because if we accept that last round was a little bit of a weird one from Tween, we have not seen him make mistakes very often, then Jaakaah just needs to continue to be looking for 2nd places over Acrose for a while longer, and it is going to take a little while in order to get him down to last chance.
Yeah, absolutely, but I mean, I nearly expected Jaakaah to be already out of this match at this point, but he has survived, and he could even maybe make a true Meltdown, which would be absolutely a massive accomplishment for him. And again, in this round, he's right up there. He's right in the fight. A mistake from one of the other two, and he could stay alive. Nice 360 from everyone, and again, nice 360. Jaakaah slides out, though.
Oh, heartbreaking. He was doing so well, was in front of Acrose, looked to have overtaken Tween as well. And the slide out, just not able to get to grips with those icy wheels in time, and is now hoping, praying for the mistake on the finish line from Acrose, or from Tween. That was a little bit wobbly from Acrose. He is still lining it up. He is still going to have the speed. He doesn't! He doesn't have the speed! Jaakaah stays alive. Acrose is on last chance. It is double last chance. Last place is eliminated, unless it's Tween.
Well. Jaakaah could take second spot in this match. It could all be decided in the next round. That's incredible. That is absolutely stunning. I stopped talking. I thought it was over. I thought Jaakaah was out and our match was finished. No, it is not. We head into the next map. And Acrose could get third. Jaakaah could get second. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I do appreciate we are still kind of not talking about Tween, currently looking very safe to lock in 12 points from this match. This might be our last chance for anyone to deny him the full suite of 12. Either Acrose or Jaakaah to maybe snipe away a match record at the last second here on Miata. But that's going to be tough because that is a very strong match record. 110.438 currently held by Tween on this map. But we've got double last chance, Babs, and we got to focus on that because most likely outcome of this next round, our first round back to Miata, is that we go down to 2 players.
And could I remind you of Jaakaah's performance last time we were on Miata? He was right up there, like he's been on every map, but he actually won some of those rounds. He won about two of the 4 rounds that we saw on Miata last time. But before we go to Miata, we do actually have Galifeu, which means that it's all going to be decided here.
Am I dumb? I think I'm dumb. Don't worry about it.
I think that's fine.
You're right. It's Galifeu. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. No, I'm dumb. That was a me problem rather than a production problem. Rare as that is, I know.
I cannot blame you, and to be honest, I couldn't blame Acrose even if he went out in third, because Jaakaah has been so good in this map and in this match. Sorry. Let's see what happens.
Yep. All right. Well, not a great start from Jaakaah, but he is only a 10th or so behind Acrose and Tween. I mean, God, what if they can Tween getting to last chance alongside these two here. No. It's not happening. Oh, no! Jaakaah, I didn't want to curse it. I wasn't talking about it, but it was the full crash from Jaakaah. Eyes are on Acrose then, because it is up to Acrose to just drive safe. As you've said earlier today, Babs, a lot of these players playing with HUD off at the moment. Acrose may not know how safe he can take it right now, but he does have 2.5 seconds to play with.
Yeah, absolutely has. That big gap behind him. Back to Jaakaah. Has a bit of a smaller one ahead of Tween. I can't imagine he's looking at Tween and thinking that he needs his first place, because first place seems so far ahead. Tween has only lost half of his points in this match so far, whilst all 3 players have been through last chance. Having said that, Acrose pushes this last drift, has good speed, heading up into the beam. A bit of a wobble from either player. No, there is not. It's a 107.9 from Acrose, which means that we are going to say bye-bye to Jaakaah, who comes home in third position. I think congratulations are in order for that performance.
Absolutely. I mean, in our first match as well, Manta massively, I think, outperforming their seeding. Jaakaah looking wonderful in this match as well. Has picked up a 2nd place and a 3rd place today. Absolutely nothing to sniff at, especially when the second match was as stacked as this one is. A performance to be proud of and something to build on moving forward in the tournament. It does leave us with only 2 players, though, in this match. And those 2 players, Tween and Acrose, well, one of them's on last chance and the other one is on 47 points. It starts to feel a little bit like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and one of them still has 4 match records. That would be 12 points again for Tween in this match. That would be 24 total from 24 available on day 1. Talk about dominating performances.
Didn't pick up all 4 match records in that first match, I don't believe. A couple of them were sniped away by XOI. One of them was sniped away by XOI. Okay. So 23 out of 24 points.
Yeah. Sorry for overestimating his his dominance on day one, but still, nonetheless, an incredible performance from him. Acrose has made a clip. Tween, you would not expect him to fail this, and nobody really thus far has done so. He is going to come home in first with a 0.8. Acrose takes second spot in the match. That was a lot more entertaining than I expected it to be halfway through.
That was very, very impressive, and congratulations to Tween. 23 points out of 24. Well, it's not perfect, but I will go ahead and let you know as well, Babs, that he did rectify that error and does end the day, I believe, with all 5 divisional records, possibly? I don't know. Either way, Tween has come here to play and has put his stamp, I think. He's laid down the marker for what you need to do to succeed in Division 2 of Beacon World League on day 1.
Yeah, I think I mentioned those who said they were disappointed of getting into Division 2. Well, Tween is here, so deal with it, sort of thing. and yeah, he's shown it on day 1, like you said. I think a very impressive performance from him overall. He's definitely put his name in the hat for the overall win in Division 2 and promotion into Division 1.
Yeah, we'll see who joins him there. I mean, Acrose, also a very strong performance today. Sniping away even 1 match record in this match from Tween would have potentially been massive. Just managing to maybe keep Tween grounded, keep Acrose a little bit closer. But Acrose does still walk away with 20 points out of the possible... No, not 20. 18 points out of the possible 24. Which probably, I'm going to guess, I don't know the results of all the other matches yet, has to leave him very close to the top of Div 2.
Yeah, definitely. I think he wants that promotion as much as anybody else as well. He wants that spot in Div 1, and he's going to have to keep up these good performances if he wants to do so.
Yeah, well, with that, Babs, goodbye. We're going to say adieu to you, and I'm going to head back over to the desk to be rejoined by Boney and by Coco to discuss a little bit about how things went down in that one. Goodbye, Babs. You're out of here. Boney, Coco, welcome back. God, I'm so glad to see you guys. They stranded me with Babs for an entire match. Can you believe?
I can't.
Boney, I know you feel my pain. I mean, how are we feeling, Coco? Tween's performance in that match was full 12 points, right? Dominant.
Well, yeah, I really expected that from Tween. He's really a world-class guy. He's the kind of guy who can adapt his playstyle with the information he gets. Like, he's pushing the first half of the map, then he head on, sees the checkpoints, sees if he had to push or slow down, if he's saving first or just going for second place because the first guy is too much ahead. But yeah, it's a world-class performance, and you can see a warmed-up Tween. Maybe his first match went a little bit closer with Zaway. He took him away 1 map record. Here now against Acrose and Jaakaah and Nayko, he took all 4 of them and win the match as well with a really convincing performance. So yeah.
Well, Coco, I have a surprise for you, because Tween has been sitting in call listening to you say nice things about him for about the last 20 seconds as well. So Tween, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us here, and congratulations. I mean, great first day of the competition for you.
Hello, thank you so much, and thank you, Coco, initially.
Tween, I gotta ask, how are you feeling about those matches? I mean, as Coco's pointed out there, you didn't quite get the full 24 points available for you.
Yeah, so the first match was very tight. I mean, Ikawa put up a very nice performance, and I mean, I was trailing behind, I think, until like half of the match, especially on Meltdown, because he was very consistent there. And yeah, I tried to chip away. I tried to, you know, like find maybe little cracks here and there. And yeah, this worked out. I think especially on Miyata, if I remember correctly, which was a map that like made me maybe push forward a little bit. But in the end, it was also like one of the decider maps, and yeah, I struggled there quite a lot. So it had its ups and its downs, but here we are.
I won't call it a struggle, but I have a question for you. Coming into this competition after World Cup, after Nadio announcement, how was your mood coming into Beacon League? How focused are you?
I think like my main issue was with like the Christmas time and stuff like that. I wasn't quite ready to, you know, like put for this tournament, and it was like up to my decision, like if I want to maybe skip the first season, or if I want to, like try my luck. And what I did was like 4 days before the competition, before the seeding event, I started up the maps, and I was like, if I like the maps, then I'll play,
Yeah.
And I was very pleasantly surprised by them, and yeah, they're pretty amazing, and I think it's like the like the creme de la creme of like the mixed deck style, And yeah, I really enjoyed myself, so I was like, why not play? I mean, I can put in like 4 to 5 hours a day from now on. That's what I did, and I spent some nice time, but like maybe then I underestimated like how difficult it is to actually, like, play around. And like it was a big part of the seeding event, so yeah, I struggled there. That wasn't too well handled on my part. But I'm very happy that I'm at least in Division 2, and I'm having fun. And I mean, if I remember correctly, like if you're top 2, you can go straight to Division 1. So that's 100% my goal right now.
All right, perfect.
That's great. For me, I mean, I'm just wondering, considering, today being as dominant as it has been, only XOI really being the one seemingly to challenge your winning streak of today. Is there any other player that you are looking to in the Division 2 that you may be worried about that could challenge that top spot that you're handling right now?
I mean, I think every one of those players like had to put up a very nice performance in the seeding event and get to Division 2. So I wouldn't count out anyone, but I think especially Evon is the one that I haven't played yet, and he's an experienced player. He's very fast, and like I remember maybe playing even some like 1v1 events against him, and yeah, I lost those matches, and that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and he was playing very nice there, and I mean it's really up to whether he's motivated and whether he's going to push hard to for the top 2 spots. But yeah, I think he's maybe the main contender or like an opponent.
Yep.
Going to be super interesting. That match happening week 3, Tween, Evon, Limpan, and Beta Toast. So definitely one to keep an eye out for. Tween, thank you so much for joining us here. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to shout out to people watching?
I just like to shout out everyone who's looking, and like thank you for the support. Thank you for an amazing tournament. Like it was so pleasant and very smooth. Obviously I haven't seen the broadcast, but like you guys are putting forward so much like effort and man hours into that, so that's very much appreciated, and thank you so much. And yeah, keep on playing Trackmania and having fun, and that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tween. And with that, we're going to say goodbye to Tween and take a very quick look at the Division 2 standings after day 1 of the competition. Tween on top with 23 points. There is Evon pretty close behind as well, 21. Limpan on 18. So yeah, that week 3 match, Coco, it's already shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, of course. Jaakaah has shown really good performances on this match specifically. Nayko struggled a lot by not doing good in early matches. I couldn't come back in it. But yeah, I mean, the favorite Tween and Evon are on top, Acrose following in 4th, and Limpan in 3rd. I'm actually surprised to see Limpan in 4th. In 3rd. Yeah.
2 strong results. Looking great so far. And well, we're going to have to go to a break because we are getting very close already to our next match time. Thank you very much, everyone who has joined us. Don't go anywhere. We are back after this break with Division 1, where the competition only gets fiercer.